Okay, now that we have the two main loops around the eyes and the lips set up, we're going to need to connect these two. But before that, I'm going to put a little extra geometry in here so that it connects nicely to this. So you can see that we have these two here. We need to chop this up here, so I'm going to put another edge in here by selecting these two and hit connect, and move this out a little again, nudge this up, so you have this line connecting this line, this one to this one. I might run another line down here perhaps, or down here. Yeah, so I'm going to grab all of these. Well, I'm going to grab the first edge here, and I'm going to use this tool that says loop, ring even. So I'm going to grab the tool that says ring, I'm going to click that, and then hit connect. You can see how that makes a line in the middle of there, so that we have some extra geometry to work with. So using the side view, just going to tuck these in a little so that we get a nicer flow to the lip. Just checking it in perspective. Yep, all looks okay. Okay, with all this geometry in place, I'm going to grab these two polygons here and these two polygons here and hit connect. No, hit bridge. And it's going to create some extra geometry in there which connects the two loops together. Right, I've got some extra options in here, so I can add extra segments. So I know I'm going to need a segment for this part of the nose here, so I'm just going to add one extra segment. So we have a total of 2, and then I'm going to hit OK to confirm that out. Right, I'm going to have to move these into place. So this, I need to come up to the edge of the nose here, and I'm just going to smooth these out. Like so. This is part of the bulge of the cheek, so I'm going to need to push them out slightly in this side view. Maybe about that much. If I have a look in perspective, just turning X-ray off by hitting Alt X so I can see the faces. Yep. This cheek needs to be brought out a lot more. So I'm going to grab this vertex here and pull it out. Like so. Okay, we have the beginnings of our face mask. You can see here that our bridge operation has smoothed these faces together, and it can make it difficult to see which direction they're facing. So I'm going to come up to this option in the window again that says shaded, edged and face. I'm going to hit the faceted button so that we can see the which way the individual faces are facing. With this mode selected, I can see that I need to have an extra loop running down here. So I'm going to grab my editable poly and move it in a little so I've got a little extra room for it later on. Another way to get rid of the smoothing that your bridge creates is to use the polygon select tool. Select all of the polygons in the mask by holding down Control and hitting the A button, and then coming down to the option in this modify panel, come to the option that says polygon smoothing groups. If you just hit this button that says clear all, you can see that it's cleared all the smoothing and you can see all the edges clearly. Another thing to make it clearer that I like to do is add a grey material, blank grey material from there, and you can see which direction each face is pointing a lot clearer. We're going to be using a smooth modifier on the finished mesh. So to check how our faces look with a smooth modifier applied to it, I'm just going to apply one quickly. So in the modifier drop down list, I'm going to look for Turbo Smooth, apply that. I'm going to have iterations of 1, and I'm going to put this isoline display on so that we only see our original lines. You can see how that's smoothed out the polygons. If I hit F4 to hide the faces, we can see that it's fairly smooth, we've got no artifacts, and it's all looking good for now. So we can continue on and add more geometry underneath. If you don't want to see this Turbo Smooth on while you're editing, you can hit this little light bulb and it'll toggle it on and off. You can also do the same with the symmetry. Another technique you can use to make more geometry is the scale tool. So if I grab the edges that I want to make new geometry along, so these edges here, and with the scale tool selected by hitting R, just hit it once or you'll scroll through the different scale types. So you want this uniform scale. So if I hold down Shift while scaling in these two axes, you can see how it drags out more polygons in a radial pattern around there. So I just need to clean this up by moving these into place using W or the move and rotate tool, select and move tool. This vertex needs to be target welded over here, and this one needs to be welded to this one here. You can see that it hasn't created them in exactly where we want them, but we can always go back in with our select and move tool and move them into place. So for example here along the bridge of the nose, we're going to need to bring this quite far out. Up to about here. And this ridge is going to be the ridge of the eyebrow, or the ridge of the skull. So we're going to move these up to around here, smooth them out a little bit. This is continuation of the cheek, so I'll move it out to around here. And this line, if you remember back to our sketch, comes down to around here. Need to move these into the correct places. Just continuing to move these vertices into place, so you can see that this cheek still needs to come out some more. So if I pull it out a little bit in the y-axis, like so, and I'm just nudging these into the correct places. This needs to come back quite far. So right here. And this, just following the contours of the face. Okay. For this polygon along the ridge of the nose, I'm just going to grab this edge here and pull it up, holding down Shift again. Go back to my vertex tool, hit the target weld this edge to here, and I have the edge of the nose. I'm just going to smooth these vertices out a little, so that if I hit my X-ray mode again, you can see they're following the ridge of the nose down to here. And again, I'm going to grab this edge tool, grab that edge there, and pull it out in the side view to about there. Should come down a little bit more. And I'm going to pull out another one for the tip of the nose, one for the bottom of the nose. I'm going to tuck it under the nose like this. So I'm going to just move down slightly like this. Grab my vertice tool again and just smooth out these vertices so that we get a slightly rounder nose. So if I hit Alt X again to see the faces, see that I've made a reasonably good looking nose there. Which I can then pull this back a little like this. I'm going to pull out one more edge, I think, just to tuck it right under here, and then target weld these to meet the lip circles there. So if we just have a look at our face mask with Turbo Smooth on, we can see that we have a nose that follows this contour here and tucks under.